Okay, we add our edges, and now it's time to create this gap or holes in the object. For a start, let me review the last video. In the last video, we talked about the edge slide, and for example, in this object, this loop is a little too much to the left, so I'm gonna move it to the right. If I press G, you can see that it's not going exactly to the right, but we have a tools called edge slide, and if I activate the tools and then select this handle, I can easily move my edge along the object. There was also a shortcut, and let me go to the wireframe, and the shortcut is double G, and G is for moving and another G is for sliding. Okay, so this is a review of on the last video, and now I go to the face selection mode and select on this face. Let me go to the select box and control select to select all the way to this type, and then shift select and control select to this one, and now again shift select, control select to this one, and shift select, control select, and shift select, control select, and control select. Okay, I selected the face that I want, and now I can press X, delete faces, or press delete and faces. You can use the one that you are more comfortable with. So I press delete and then press faces. And now my faces are gone. So now I need to create a face here. And the type of face that I need is, let me select view. I need a face that create like this. Okay, and then another face to create like this. Okay, so let me, for this type of thing, we have a feature in Blender, and what it does is that whether you select a vertex or whether you select an edge that is actually two vertex, it's gonna create a face based on your selection. And what it does is that it's gonna select the two vertex after your selection. For example, if I select this vertex, it's gonna select this and this vertex and gonna fill it. And if I select these two vertex or one edge, it's gonna select this vertex and this vertex, and it's gonna create a face based on these four vertex. So if I select this edge and go to the vertex and select new edge and face from vertices, and the shortcut is F. So fill F. It's really easy to remember. If I select this one, you can see that it's gonna select these two vertex and fill the object. But if I only select one vertex and press F, you can see that it's only gonna create a triangle. And if I select this edge and press F, you can see that it's gonna select these two vertex and fill it based on these two. So remember to select the right edge or the right vertices. And if you hold the F, it's gonna fill object all the way to the point that it can fill. And one more time, if I select this edge and hold F, you can see that it's gonna all fill all the way to the here. And here and here, I hold F and it's gonna fill. Okay, we create our gap, and I think it's finished for this object, but to teach you another way to fill the object, I need to add another reference image. So let me goodbye to my first image, go to the -y view and select image, reference, and add another image. And this image is, we don't want to create all this gap. I only need to create one gap in here. You can see that we only need one of these shapes here, and then we're gonna put it to at the middle of the light that we created. So how many edges do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, always plan ahead of what you want to do. So I need to create 4 horizontal edge here. So let me delete these rotations. And if we look at my object, you can see that we don't have really much space for horizontal edge. So first I'm going to press tab, go to the edit mode, select box and wireframe mode and vertex mode, and then select all of the top vertices and move it up a little so that we can have a space for my 4 edges. And now for adding the 4 edge with the same space, once again we need to use the bevel, but first let me add 1 edge for what we need. So I'm gonna use the shortcut Ctrl R, or you can use the loop cut tools and add 1 edge here. Okay, but it's diagonal and we need to make it horizontal. I teach you about a solution for this kind of thing. And if I select scale tools and move it down, you can see that it's gonna make my loop exactly horizontal. And if you really want to make sure that it's horizontal, you can come here and on Z axis you press 0. Okay, so what it does, if I want to explain it once more, every time you use a scale tool, it's gonna create, let me move my image a little back. For example, every time I select this loop and use a scale on it, a scale tool is gonna create an imaginary cube. Let me go, for example, this angle. It's gonna create this kind of imaginary cube for itself, and then when I use the scale, it's gonna close this cube and make it 0. And you can see that if I select escape, it's gonna scale the cube along the Z axis, and in 0 scale it's gonna make the cube flat. And this is a technique that you can use for creating the horizontal edge. All the notation. And now that we have my edge, I can easily use the bevel and bevel tool or shortcut Ctrl B and create a gap. I think this much is enough, and then come here and add 3. Now that I create my edge, I can alt and select on this edge to select the whole loop, and shift alt and select on this edge to select the whole loop around. And then I can press delete or X again and faces. And like this, I create my gap. And now the way to fill this kind of shape that is closed is you can go to the face mode and select grid fill. And you can see that the grid fill is gonna see what type of edge you have on each side and create the whole fill. And once again, face, grid fill. And if you are sure that you want to use a tools again, you can repeat it with Shift R. And once again, I click the whole closed shape and Shift R to fill it. We are almost at the end of modeling a room light. One of the things that I want to point out is that for using the grid fill, you need to have an even number of edges around your closed edges, and if it's not an even number, it's not gonna work. And another tip for using it is that if you want to have a edge flow from one side of your closed edge to the other side, it's better to have the same number of edge on opposite side of each other. And that is the tips. And as always, you can subscribe, like, or comment, or anything else if you want. See you on the next video.